thought—" A dirty look aimed at Gladys explained what she had thought. Then her glance fell on the bottle and siphon on the table beside Geraldine's chair, and she changed the subject by inquiring if Colonel Rand might like a drink. "Well, let's go up to the gunroom," Gladys suggested. "We can have our drink up there while Colonel Rand's looking at the pistols. Coming with us, Geraldine?" Geraldine rose, not too steadily, her glass still in her hand, and took Rand's left arm. Gladys, seeing Nelda moving in on the detective's right, took his other arm. Nelda was barely successful in suppressing a look of murderous anger. The double doorway into the hall was just wide enough for Rand and his two flankers to pass through. Nelda had to fall in a couple of paces rear of center, and wasn't able to come up into line until they were in the hall, upstairs. "There's the gunroom," Gladys pointed. "And that's your room over there." As she spoke, Walters came out of the doorway she had indicated. "Your bags are unpacked, sir," he reported. Then he told Rand where he would find his things, and where the bath was. There was a brief discussion of drinks. The butler received his instructions and went down the stairway. Rand broke up the feminine formation around him and ushered the ladies ahead of him into the gunroom. It was much as he remembered it from his visit of 2 years before. There was a desk in one corner, and back of it a short workbench and tool cabinet. There was a long table in the middle of the room, its top covered with green baize, upon which many flat rectangular boxes of hardwood rested, some walnut, some rosewood, some quartered oak. Each would contain a pistol or pair of pistols with cleaning and loading tools. In the corner farthest from the desk he saw the head of the spiral stairway from the library below mentioned by Gladys Fleming. There were ashstands and a couple of cocktail tables and a number of chairs and the old maple cobbler's bench on which Lane Fleming had died. The only books in the room were in a small case over the workbench. They were all arms books. Then he looked at the walls. On both ends, and on the long inside wall, the pistols hung, hundreds and hundreds of them. The cream of a lifetime's collecting. Horizontal, white-painted boards had been fixed to the walls, about 4 feet from the floor, and similar boards had been placed 5 feet above them. Between, narrow vertical strips, as wide as a lath but twice as thick, were set. Rows of pistols were hung, the barrels horizontal on pairs of these strips, with screw hooks at grip and muzzle. There were about 100 such vertical rows of pistols. Rand was still looking at them when the butler brought in the drinks. When Gladys told the servant that that would be all, he went out, rather reluctantly, by the spiral stairs to the library. "Well, what do you think of them, Colonel Rand?" Gladys asked. Rand tasted his whiskey and looked around. "It's one of the finest collections in the country," he said. "I may even be able to find somebody who'll top Rivers's offer, but don't be disappointed if I don't. By the way, did anybody help Mr. Fleming keep this stuff clean? The room seems dry, but even so, they'd need an occasional wiping off." "Oh, Walters was always in here, going over the pistols," Nelda said. "He's been in here every day lately." "I wonder if you could spare him to help me a little. I'll need somebody who knows his way around here at first." "Why, of course," Gladys agreed. "He isn't very busy in the mornings, or in the afternoons till close to dinner time. Are you going to start work today?" "I'll have to. I'm going to see Stephen Gresham and his associates this evening, and I'll want to know what I'm talking about." They spent about 15 minutes over their drinks, talking about the collection. Rand and Gladys did most of the talking, in spite of Nelda's best efforts to monopolize the conversation. Geraldine, after a few minutes, retired into her private world and only roused herself when her sister and stepmother were about to leave. When they went out, Gladys promised to send Walters up directly. Rand heard her speaking to him at the foot of the main stairway. End of Chapter 6.